U.S. acquires a 10% stake in Intel. Trump exerts greater influence over major corporations. Washington, August 22 to 23, 2025. In a significant and contentious decision, the U.S. government has obtained nearly a 10% equity interest in Intel Corporation, transforming previously designated federal grant funds into stock ownership. The announcement, made by President Trump, highlights a remarkable increase in government participation in a private enterprise, one that transcends conventional market practices. Overview of the agreement. The government converted $8.9 billion in outstanding funding from the CHIPS and Science Act and the Secure Enclave program into Intel shares, acquiring 433.3 million non-voting shares at $20.47 each, below the stock's trading price of $24.25. In total, the U.S. government has invested $11.1 billion in Intel when factoring in earlier grant allocations. The ownership remains passive. The government does not hold a board seat nor has governance rights, although it has agreed to vote in alignment with Intel's board in most instances. As a precaution for the future, the government has secured a 5-year warrant to purchase an additional 5% if Intel's foundry stake falls below 51%, again at approximately $20 per share. Political context and strategic justification. President Trump's recent action represents another audacious step in his second term, utilizing state authority in the private sector. Just weeks prior, Trump publicly criticized Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan regarding alleged connections to China, but changed his stance after discussions, commending Tan and advocating for a deal. Trump has also intervened with other technology firms such as NVIDIA and AMD, establishing revenue-sharing agreements linked to their chip sales to China, and acquiring a golden share in U.S. steel operations. The administration presents these actions as essential for national security, utilizing industrial policy to maintain and reshore critical manufacturing. Market and political reactions. Intel stock experienced a favorable response, increasing by approximately 5 to 7% after the announcement. This rise can be attributed in part to the reduced share price and the perceived stability provided by government support. Critics have quickly expressed their concerns. Senator Rand Paul condemned the action as a dangerous step toward socialism. Scott Lincecum from the Cato Institute described it as a terrible decision, cautioning that political motivations could overshadow commercial considerations. Editorials in the Washington Post and other publications characterized the agreement as an overreach of industrial policy, contending that it distorts free market principles and may fail to resolve Intel's fundamental structural challenges. Conversely, supporters such as Senator Bernie Sanders commended the initiative as a means for taxpayers to receive tangible benefits from subsidies. Intel's situation. Why this matters. Intel, a long-standing leader in chip manufacturing, is currently confronting significant obstacles. In 2024, the company reported its first-ever annual loss of approximately $18.8 billion and has incurred losses exceeding $22 billion since 2023. Reports indicate potential layoffs affecting up to 20,000 employees. Lagging behind competitors like AMD and NVIDIA, Intel's foundry operations remain uncompetitive and lack sufficient customers. Intel has pledged to enhance domestic manufacturing, including substantial investments in new fabrication facilities in Arizona, Ohio, and Oregon, amounting to over $100 billion. What it means going forward. This initiative represents a significant transformation in the manner in which the U.S. government interacts with the private sector, heralding a new phase of strategic industrial intervention. The U.S. emerges as Intel's largest shareholder, albeit discreetly, with the potential for future expansion through warrants. The agreement establishes a precedent for converting grants into equity, potentially redefining the nature of federal subsidies across various industries. With board control remaining unchanged, the actual effect will depend on whether this stabilizes Intel's operations or introduces political influences into corporate governance. In conclusion, on August 22, 2025, President Trump executed an extraordinary transformation of grant funds into public equity, obtaining approximately a 10% passive ownership in Intel. This action, regarded as one of the most forceful government interventions in peacetime corporate America, sparked both hope for industrial rejuvenation and concern regarding the increasing influence of the state in the private sector.